This show is brought to you by NMDC Group.
FAB's Q3 profit soars 46% to $1.2 billion, and Egypt and China sign a debt swap deal for development projects. You're watching the Daily Brief with Forbes. I'm Ramia Faraj. First Abu Dhabi Bank saw net profit for Q3 soar 46% to $1.2 billion, boosted by solid growth in revenue. FAB's revenue rose 27% from the same quarter last year to touch $1.9 billion. The UAE's largest bank posted a record net profit of $3.4 billion for the first 9 months of this year. That's a 58% rise year on year. FAB saw loans rise 4% to $130.1 billion and deposits rise 12% to $213.7 billion. Egypt has signed a debt swap MOU with China for development projects. The debt swap entails the cancellation of some portion of China's foreign debt in exchange for local investment in a particular project in Egypt. Egyptian officials say this innovative financing approach supports the joint efforts of the Egyptian government and the Chinese side in achieving sustainable development by utilizing portions of Chinese debt to fund these development initiatives. Brent crude dropped to near $90 a barrel today after touching a 2-week high yesterday. It comes as the Biden administration announced it's easing sanctions against Venezuela's oil and gas sector. The deal also lifts a ban on trade involving state-owned gold mining company Minervan, along with the secondary trading of some Venezuelan sovereign bonds. The license will be renewed after 6 months if Venezuela's government meets its commitments, including election transparency and the release of Americans and political prisoners. Renault's Q3 sales grew 7% to $11 billion as a drop in volume was offset by price increases for its vehicle lineup. But shares tumbled today as analysts had expected sales growth of 10.77%. Renault has moved to a strategy of selling fewer cars but at higher prices. It confirmed its outlook for 2023 with cash flow equal or above $2.64 billion and an operating margin of between 7% and 8%. Roche's Q3 sales slipped 3% as a sharp decline in COVID-19 product sales and a strong Swiss franc weighed on the value of overseas sales. Quarterly sales came in at $15.9 billion, broadly in line with analyst estimates. Revenues from a new drug, Vabysmo, against a common form of blindness in the elderly, which won approval early last year, came in better than expected at $729.5 million. TSMC saw Q3 net profit drop 25% year on year to $6.5 billion. Revenue dropped almost 15% in line with the company's own forecast. But that was actually less than what analysts feared, sending shares in the firm higher today. The world's biggest maker for chips for other companies saw a downturn as demand for smartphones and other gadgets declined from last year's highs. Now the Taiwan-based firm must also navigate the U.S. crackdown on chip supplies to China. President Putin has praised the unprecedented energy cooperation between Moscow and Beijing as the Kremlin seeks to strengthen its Asian partnerships to make up for losses in Europe. Putin ended his China visit today, his first outside the former Soviet Union this year. He said relations and partnership and strategic cooperation between Russia and China have reached an unprecedented high and continue to develop dynamically. He added that a key area in this relationship is energy cooperation, and it's becoming increasingly active. The European Commission has launched probes into Meta and TikTok. It's seeking detailed measures they've taken to stop the spread of what they say is illegal content and disinformation around the Hamas-Israel conflict. The Commission says it sent formal requests for information to Meta and TikTok. It's the first procedure launched under the EU's new law on digital content. I'm Ramia Faraj. This is the Daily Brief. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.
This show is brought to you by NMDC Group.